Welcome to our channel, where we dig deeper into controversial topics and show what's really going on behind the news. We're about to start a journey that will show us things that we haven't seen or expected. In this video, we're going to explore a pressing issue that's been quietly impacting the great nation of Canada. You might be asking, why is Canada falling? The answer may surprise you, and we promise to reveal it by the end of this video. But before we expose the cause behind Canada's challenges, we invite you to be a part of this eye-opening disclosure. If you're interested as we are, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. Now, let's get started. It seems like Canada recently had some money problems. In fact, their economy has shrunk by 0.2% in the past few months. It's not like getting as much money as you thought you would. It looks like things didn't get better in July either. This might lead the bank to keep the interest rates the same because there's a chance Canada could be headed for a small economic problem. The experts thought Canada would do better, but it didn't. They say it might already be in a little recession. The economy slowed down because people didn't spend as much and there weren't as many things to buy or sell. Even building new homes slowed down. So, Canada is facing some money challenges. How did the wildfires in June impact various industries in Canada, and what were the economic consequences? Now discover with us. Do you remember those big fires in Canada in June? A lot of businesses had a hard time with them. Industries like mining, quarrying, and rail transportation took a hit. That isn't good for the economy. Now, Canada's got this report that talks about its money situation. It's like a report card for how well the country is doing. This report is the last big piece of info that the Bank of Canada looks at before they make decisions about money stuff. Experts who talk about money, like economists, say that most of them think the bank won't change things this time. They'll probably just keep everything the way it is. That's because they think the money stuff isn't working, okay, and it makes sense to keep it the same. So, those wildfires and this report are making the Bank of Canada think twice about changing anything right now. How have recent changes in interest rates and bond yields impacted Canada's economic outlook? Let's find out. A lot of things are going on with Canada's money. Some people bet that interest rates would go up, but they no longer think that would happen. Now, they're only 7% sure they will go up. This thing called a 2-year bond that's related to how much interest the Bank of Canada might charge also changed. It got a bit lower, but there's another thing called the 10-year rate, which didn't change much. The Canadian dollar, which is like their version of money, is worth a little less compared to the US dollar, and it's also not doing great against other important world currencies. The Bank of Canada raised the interest rate a bunch of times until it was really high, like the highest in 22 years. This was because prices of things went up a lot, more than they were supposed to. That's not good, so they tried to fix it. But now, they're not so sure what to do because some things are getting better and some things are getting worse. A group that looks at all the numbers and data in Canada said that the economy didn't do as well as they thought it did in May, and it wasn't as great as the first part of this year either. The problem is that a lot of people aren't spending as much on houses. People aren't building new ones or fixing up their old ones. That's not good for the economy. So, Canada's money situation is a bit of a puzzle right now, and the experts are trying to figure it out. What are the key factors contributing to Canada's underperformance in the global economic arena, despite its vast resources and strategic advantages? Now we will discuss. Canada is a big country, and you might expect it to be a huge deal in the world, but it's not. While you might know Canada for its famous musicians like Justin Bieber and Celine Dion, it doesn't quite make headlines in the economic world as much as you'd think. Considering Canada's size, it's surprising. It's the second largest country globally and has lots of advantages for trade. It's got the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans on either side, a vast Arctic region up north, and it's even a net energy exporter. It's rich in oil, natural gas, and those important minerals needed for clean energy. Plus, Canada shares its border with the United States, the world's largest economy. So, what's the catch? Well, despite all this potential, Canada's economy is just 15th in the world when you look at how much it's worth. To put it simply, Canada could be an economic giant, but for some reason, it's not living up to its full potential. In fact, experts predict that it might not grow as much as other advanced nations in the coming years. What were the initial economic prospects for Canada at the beginning of the 20th century, and why did these predictions not materialize? Let's discover with us. Back at the start of the 20th century, Canada was booming. Everything seemed to be on the up and up. Prime Minister Wilfrid Laurier even predicted that the 20th century would belong to Canada, but things didn't go exactly as planned. After World War II, Canada had its fair share of challenges, like high inflation, rising deficits, and low prices for its resources. Now, as we're in the 21st century, that big prediction isn't holding up either. In fact, a report by PwC says that Canada's place in the global economy will drop to 22nd by the middle of this century. What's the problem? Well, one big issue is poor productivity. Canadian workers don't produce as much as their American counterparts, which is even less than what workers in Europe and the UK are doing. You'd think that being rich in resources would help the country grow, but it's not working out that way. Canada has lots of free trade deals and trade partners, but it's been hard for them to take full advantage. Their economy relies heavily on natural resources and manufacturing, but those areas have been struggling. Regulations have become stricter, and they're facing tough competition from other countries. What factors contribute to Canadian businesses struggling to compete on a global scale? Let's find out. Some researchers are saying that Canadian businesses just aren't strong enough to compete globally. They think that Canada's massive size, its mountains, and some of its provincial laws might be getting in the way of businesses being more competitive and innovative. It's like there are hidden barriers inside the country that make it hard for companies to trade and grow. The Business Council of Alberta even compares these barriers to a nearly 7% tax on goods. Plus, the country sometimes takes measures to protect its businesses. Part of the problem might be that Canada doesn't have as many people as some other countries. It's got one of the lowest population densities in the world, and the number of babies being born is dropping, which isn't helping. But Canada's got some other good things going for it. People there often have a great quality of life, good healthcare, and great education. It's seen as one of the best places to live, and it's pretty open to people moving there. Canada is still seen as an attractive place to live, and it's open to having people move there, which could help change the population issues. Plus, opportunities are coming up with changes in the climate and the melting Arctic ice, which could be a game changer for Canada. If things stay the way they are with how productive the country is, living standards might drop, and all of Canada's economic potential could go untapped. That's not good news for people moving there for a better life, and could impact the whole world's economy. Canada's economic challenges stem from a complex interplay of factors, including lagging productivity, over-reliance on resource-based industries, internal trade barriers, demographic shifts, and a strong emphasis on quality of life. Despite its immense geographical advantages and abundant resources, Canada has yet to realize its potential as a global economic powerhouse fully. Addressing these challenges and fostering innovation will be crucial for the nation to harness its economic strength, raise living standards, and contribute significantly to the global economy in the coming years. So that's all for today's video. If you liked this video, click the like and the bell buttons. We'll have another video for you soon. Take care until then.